Good evening. My name is Mark Krebs. I'm a gold qualified consultant with Team Sunset, part of Team Empire and Team Rising Tide. Welcome to tonight's Filling Out Forms Correctly training. This is for mostly new agents, but those older agents who are looking to brush up on their skills, who may not use these forms very often, this training is for you as well. There are two forms that we are going to cover tonight. These are the most used forms that we have here at Archer. Those are the credit card authorization form and the commission tracking form. These are the two most important forms that you are going to fill out here at Archer Travel, because these are the two forms that are going to enable you to get paid your commission. So the first one that we're going to take a look at is going to be the credit card authorization form. So in order to find that, you just go to your travel cafe in your back office. You go to forms and then credit card authorization form. And it's going to bring up this screen here. It says credit card authorization form. For clients, credit card authorization form, you click on that. It's going to bring up a way to download the credit card authorization form, which you are going to want to do so that you can download and have a copy of that on your computer. And then right down below it is a PDF of how to fill out the credit card authorization form, which we're going to go over right now. Okay, so this is how you actually fill out the credit card authorization form for it to be correct. So, and it must be filled out this way to be covered under Archer Travel's Protection Plus program, which is our errors and emissions insurance program. You, the travel agent, should fill out the top part of the credit card authorization form, and I will show you an example of a correctly filled out credit card authorization form. This includes your independent contractor business name, your business address. This is the only time that you are required to put your mailing address, your home address on a form. Okay, so you must have your business address listed on this form. Your city, state, and zip code, your business telephone number, and your email address. You're going to put your client's name, your name where it says independent contractor, the guest name, which should be the client's name or the person traveling.
Hey, good throw. Just got to get in front of it. Get in front of us. Yeah. All right.
Sorry about that. You're going to put this, what type of trip it is, whether it's a package trip or flights or hotel only, car rental only. You're going to put the supplier name. You're going to put the confirmation number for the booking, also known as the booking number. And then you are going to fill out the departure date and the return date of the trip. Your client is going to completely fill out the remaining information and attach a copy of their driver's license and a copy of the front of their credit card with the numbers blacked out. Okay, so let me say that again. They need to submit a copy of their driver's license or passport, so a photo ID of the credit card holder and the credit card with the numbers blacked out. Okay, and you must have that information on file. The form should be completed with the client signature, and we need an actual signature on the form. So the client cannot just type their name. For convenience, they can download a PDF reader, preferably Adobe Acrobat PDF reader, which is free, which allows the client to fill and sign electronically on their device. Or they can download the form, print it, fill it in by hand, sign it by hand, scan it, and resend it to you. Now, what's really important here is that you need to remind the client that the charge on their credit card is going to be coming from whatever supplier you're using, not from Archer Travel, not from Evolution, and not from your agency unless you're charging them a service fee. Okay. This is, by stating this separately, this is going to prevent a chargeback or reporting their booking charges as fraud. Now, in the case of a chargeback, Archer will go to bat for you. So, but you must have the proper documentation, meaning this credit card authorization form must be filled out correctly. And you must have the credit card, the front of the credit card, and the photo ID of the client or of the credit card holder. The travel agent must use an Archer travel supplier listed through the Travel Cafe website or an approved travel provider from Archer Travel. And the client must have completely filled out the credit card authorization form. If you do not provide Archer Travel with proper documentation, the travel agent is fully responsible for any chargebacks. That means you are financially responsible for any chargebacks that the client may initiate if you do not have the documentation correct. For those of you who are new, make sure that you are working with your mentor for your first 5 or 10 bookings until you get the hang of these forms, so that you're not making a mistake. Make sure that your mentor is looking over all of your work before you submit it to the client. Okay? So, because you don't want to be stuck in a situation where you have a chargeback and you are stuck paying thousands of dollars out of your own pocket. So let me pull up a correctly filled out credit card authorization form here for you. And I don't mind showing you guys this one because this is actually mine. Okay, so this is a credit card authorization I did for regionals in Detroit last year. See how it has my business name, 72 and Sunny Travel, right up top here. It has my business address, my city, state, and zip code, my business phone number, and my email address. I was the client. I authorized myself to process the credit card information for the reservation details below. Now, you may be asking yourself, why do this for your own reservation? It's because in case my credit card company thought that this charge was fraudulent, because I made about $2,000 worth of charges in a very short period of time to make this trip to regionals in Detroit. And I needed to have documentation showing them that it was not fraudulent. Okay, so even if you're traveling for yourself, you still need to fill out a credit card authorization form in case your bank or your credit card company flags it as a fraudulent charge. I was the guest. This was a hotel only booking. It was directly to the Embassy Suites by Hilton in Troy, Auburn Hills. I put my confirmation number, my departure date or my check-in date, my return date. My name is the contact name. The name as it appeared on my card. The last 4 digits of the card is all you put on this form. Okay, that's it. The total charge to my card, the expiration date, the billing address, the city, state, zip of my card, my daytime phone number, my email address for my card. And then right down here is where you offer your client travel protection every single time. Okay? So every single time you offer your client travel protection, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Whether or not they accept it is up to them. I did not accept travel protection because this was my own trip. You must explain the risks for declining coverage to your clients. And they must understand that by declining travel insurance, they may not be covered for any changes or cancellations of the trip, and that they are solely responsible and liable for any cancellation penalties and out-of-pocket expenses incurred. This is my signature. This is my electronic signature on the form, and this is the date that I signed the form. So your client is going to complete everything from here down. So the name as it appears on the credit card, all the way down. So if you're doing just a airline ticket, Sandy, so for the supplier name, if you're doing just an airline only ticket, then you can put the airline in there. If you're booking it direct with the airline, that's what I would suggest doing. So trip type would be airline tickets only. Supplier name would be, say, Delta. Does that make sense? And Jeanette, did that answer your question? Okay, so Lindsay brings up a good point. How come you need the picture of the card if the numbers are blocked out? And how do we get the full credit card number if that is the case? So you're going to ask, so for the second part of that question, you're going to ask your client for the number over the phone. Okay? And you're going to put it into the vendor's credit card system with them on the phone. The other reason we need the picture of the card to verify that it is their card that they are using and it is not a third party or stolen card. That is why we need the picture of the card with the number blacked out. It's a fraud protection issue. And it's Archer policy to get a copy of that. Quinita, you don't have to know the card type. But I can tell you starting with a 3 is American Express, 4 is Visa, 5 is MasterCard, and 6 is Discover. Yep. But you don't really need to know that information, to be totally honest with you. If it's a package, then you're going to put like Apple Vacations or FunJet or Southwest Vacations as the supplier name, Sandy. So Letitia asks, what if their addresses are different? That brings up an interesting point because that would be a third-party card. And I would not take that unless you absolutely know and trust the people. So if you know them personally, then you can do that. But a third-party reservation like that is risky because it could be a fraudulent card or it could be a stolen credit card. And that should raise a lot of red flags to you. So get with your mentor if you ever have that situation come up. But if you personally know the people that are doing that, so let's say it's a mother booking a trip for their daughter or their son, and you personally know these people, then by all means, you're fine. But if it's somebody approaching you off the street and you don't know them, then that needs to raise a lot of red flags. And I want you guys to go to my 21-day booking procedures video and fraud detection and prevention video on YouTube. And I will put my YouTube into the chat at the end of this training. Because that has information about how to detect fraudulent charges and fraudulent travel bookings. Okay? And how to prevent them. Basically, the moral of the story is if the booking seems to be too good to be true, it is. It should raise a lot of red flags, especially if you don't know the people. And we're not going to get into that tonight because that's a whole nother topic. So Sheila, yes, you would take two payments if you charge a fee, and you would do two credit card authorization forms. Meryl, this is a new policy from Archer. So we do have to put our address on here. It is for the credit card companies. So it is a new policy per Archer that we have to put our address on there. You can get a PO box and use that as your business address if you would like, and use that as a tax write-off. But we do have to put our address on these forms. That is per Archer Travel. If you do have a chargeback and your address is not on this form, then Archer is not going to be able to fight it for you. And you'll be responsible for the chargeback. Jacqueline, yes, if you have a group of 10 people and they're all paying separately, they all have to do a credit card authorization form. So Sandra, yes, that is an interesting question, because I've heard two different schools of thought on how many times you have to fill out the credit card authorization form. I have heard it from some platinum leaders that it is only one time for the entire package, and you just write multiple payments on it. And then I am of the school of thought that no matter how many times you charge the card, because you may have different amounts, each charge, you fill out a separate credit card authorization form to get signed by the client. That is what I do personally. I have my clients sign every time they make a payment, because I never know if they are going to initiate a chargeback on a certain charge. And I don't want to have it all lumped into one credit card authorization form and be responsible for a $4,500 bill because of one $75 chargeback. So ask your platinum, but what I suggest personally, and what I do personally, is to do a credit card authorization form for every single charge that you do. So Sheila, you go and get that credit card authorization form from the travel cafe. So that's where it is. Meryl, no, you do not have to go back and edit your old forms from a year ago, because that was prior to the policy change. So you're good to go there. Carla, if you're using Turn, Travefy, or TravelJoy, you cannot use their electronic CC auth. Unfortunately, I have asked the office about that. They do not take that. So Sheila, yes, when you're going along on a site making a booking, that is where you need to put the credit card info, is into that vendor site. And then you need to fill out the credit card authorization form, because most sites will let you hold a booking for a day to 3 days without putting in a payment, so that you get a booking number. And then you can come back once you get this credit card authorization form signed. You can come back and put in the payment for the client. So I hope that makes sense. So such as Vax will let you do that. It'll let you hold it for 2 days, 2 or 3 days. Jeanette, no, we cannot create the CC Auto form in Travefy as that is outlined here and use it. Unfortunately, I've tried, and there is not a way to do it. Adobe Acrobat is a good choice for a legally binding signature because you can sign the document right there on your device, no matter what kind of device it is, computer, smartphone, tablet. Rebecca, yes, and fees are a whole nother subject. I do use Square myself. And I fill out a credit card authorization form for my fees because I am charging my client's card. So Ariona, sorry, I hope I said that right. Yes, you can get the client to sign the form while on the phone, book the trip, and then fill in the reservation number after and send it back to the client. That's perfectly fine. Quinita, yes, you would send the form PDF. Sandra, then if the client refuses to give you the front of their driver's license, you need to, and I understand that you may have had clients that are very protective of this information due to fraudulent issues that they have incurred in the past. You need to tell them that this is for their protection as well, to ensure that their cards are not being used fraudulently. But without this information, that you cannot book this trip. This is a corporate policy. And that this is an Archer travel policy, that we have this information. So without the front, it is to match the name of the credit card holder and the signature to the photo ID. So it is for their protection to make sure that their card is not being used fraudulently. That is how you need to explain it to your client. Rahel, yes, Square does charge a percentage for each transaction, 3.5% plus 15 cents. But if you guys go to my instant commissions video on my YouTube, which I will post in the chat later, I do have a Square referral code that I believe is in the description of the video. No, they cannot block out their license number. They can only black out the credit card numbers. Michelle, the other way, if you've had an elderly client not familiar with downloading apps, the other option is for them to download the form to their computer, print it, sign it by hand, scan it, and send it back to you. Or if there's time, they can print it, download it, print it, scan, send it in the mail back to you. So that's another option for the elderly clientele as well, Michelle. Yes, Letitia, anytime that you are using the client's credit card, even if you're charging your own fees, you use this form. Anytime you are virtually swiping the credit card, so paying for anything for your clients, you use this form. Okay, it is for your protection, it is for the client's protection. Okay. Are there any more questions about the credit card authorization form before we move on to the commission tracking form? That was a great discussion on the credit card authorization form. Thank you guys for that. If they PayPal you, no. Yeah, I can do that, Michelle. This is a little off topic, guys, but this is my personal fee document. What I charge my clients for my services, including my research fees, my airline ticketing fees, my change fees, and my honeymoon and wedding destination wedding and honeymoon research fees. For those of you who are new, I would not put too much stock into this quite yet for charging fees. For those of you who are more experienced, feel free to grab this and use it. But any other questions about the credit card authorization form? Okay, if not, so Michelle, if a client wants to make a monthly payment as for a cruise, etc., do they have to fill out this every time, or can they add the monthly payment on one form? Like I was saying earlier, I've heard two schools of thought on it. Some platinums say that you can do it all on one form and say monthly payments. Others, and I am of the school of thought that you need to have a separate form filled out because those payments can be different amounts. So I have a client that's paying for a Disney trip right now, and she pays different amounts. So I do a credit card authorization form every single time I make a payment for her. And I would prefer to have the paperwork, even though it's electronic. I also have I always have a paper copy as well of the credit card authorization form in case I need it, just as a backup. So, but she makes the payments of different amounts every 2 weeks on this cruise for her and her kids. So then it's an all-inclusive package type, Letitia. So Sheila, it depends on if the vendor offers monthly payments, such as in Vax. So no, we do not have to pay. We never will have to pay the vendors out of our own pockets. There are several different ways that you can finance quote unquote trips or make monthly payments on trips. Disney and Vax, you can put deposits down and make monthly payments up to a certain time point prior to the trip with no interest. You can use a program called Uplift, which is a financing program that pays the entire trip off to the supplier all at once, and the client makes payments to Uplift. That can be used for all-inclusives. It can be used for packages. It can be used for cruises. It can be used for build your own packages. You can do a build your own package and pay for the flight separately, the hotel separately, and the activities separately. Jeanette, I can probably do one in April, but the training is very, very simple for Uplift. At the end of this, once I stop the recording, I will put the Uplift training into the chat box so that everybody can get to it. It's very simple. So, any other questions about the credit card authorization form? Okay. So the next form that you're going to use all of the time is going to be the commission tracking form. And this is going to be found in your Evo travel agent back office. Okay, so your website back office. And we explain all this in new agent orientation, and we show you guys briefly where to do it. And there's not much more training that I'm going to do on this. I'm just going to remind you guys of how to do this correctly. So you go into your back office in your website. You go to commission, and then you go to commission tracking form. Okay, There are 6 types of commission tracking forms. Well, 7, if you count the group booking forms, which you should be working with your mentor on if you have a group booking of more than 8 people. So we're going to take a look at a package tonight for the example. So all you have to do is click on the type of travel. And then you put the primary traveler's first name, their last name, their phone number, their email address, their departure month, day, and year. You just click on the drop downs and select all of that. Do the same thing with the return month, day, and year. You're going to put the airline, the hotel, and the car rental agency name if applicable. So let's say it was for a package to Cancun and it was the Riu, and they flew on Delta. So it would be Delta Airlines, Riu Palace Cancun, and that was it, because there would be no car rental. You're going to click on the drop down to select a supplier. So let's say we booked this through FunJet. And then most importantly, you are going to put the reservation number that you get from FunJet and VAX right here. And you're going to get that after booking or once you put it on hold. Okay. The reason why this is so important is because without this reservation number, you are not going to get paid your commission. This is how Archer Travel tracks your commission checks, is with this number. So let me just fill this out quick. Okay, so this is the number. This is what's going to be your ticket number in your commission tracking forms. Letitia, no, because this is not, because your commissions are called instant commissions. This is only if you are being paid commissions through the supplier. So your commissions that you charge for service fees are 100% your own. This form is used for supplier commissions, so subject to the 80-20 split with Archer. So we're going to say this is a $6,250 trip. And we know the commission for FunJet is 16%. So we're just going to do the math here. Oops. So it's $1,000 commission estimated. Okay, so you always put in your estimated commission total. And then all you have to do, guys, is click on submit form. And I'll show you what it does here in just a minute. Yes, Andy, you use package. Because that is a package. It's one or more, it's 2 or more things makes it a package. No, you can actually put in a decimal. So put in the exact estimated commission that it gives you in the booking administration for vax, because that's what Archer will go off of. So let's say, but this one just happened to come out to $1,000, and I just took a stab at it. So we'll submit the form. And you see how it shows up in my submitted commissions. So the ticket number 1234567 submitted on this date. Estimated commission is $1,000. The trip total was $62.50. The traveler's name comes up here, departure date here, and the itinerary. Now you can view it. And it just tells you everything. And if you need to, I'm going to delete this submission here because this was a fake commission tracking form, because I don't want Archer looking for this. And you see it's gone. But if you go to commissions and you click on paid commissions, it'll show you all of your total earnings for right here. For the year, for 2023 and 2024 and 2022, whatever year you started, you'll have your total commission earnings. I have a garnishment coming out of my checks. That's why I don't have paid commissions in here. You can click on submitted commissions and look and see what everything is looking like. So that is the commission tracking form. Now, if you don't have your commissions within 30 to 60 days, once you hit that 60-day mark, you hit that where's my commission button and send your inquiry 60 to 90 days after the travel date is complete. They are working through approximately 2,000 emails and inquiries. Okay. So they will work, the commissions team at Archer will work on this as soon as they get it. So it may take a little while. So I just want you guys to be aware of that. So Feiji, the estimate is always going to be given by our suppliers. They all have a way of giving us the estimated commission, or the commission totals that they're going to pay on whatever trips. So Disney is going to be considered a package because they're booking the hotel, dining plan, and park tickets. And more than likely, you're going to be booking flights for them and possibly a rental car. So it's a Walt Disney World package. So anytime you think of it this way, Universal Orlando Resort package. So you're getting the hotel and park tickets. That is a package. Walt Disney World Resort Park package or hotel package. So hotel, dining plan, park tickets. So that's going to be a package. Cruises are the exact same process. All of this is going to be the same process when you're filling this out. Quinita, commissions are paid 30 to 60 days after travel has been completed. So 30 to 60 days after your client has returned from their trip, is usually when commissions are paid out. Now, there are some exceptions to that rule. Pin leg insurance is paid out the month after the policy has been paid for. Usually the last commission period of the month. So we are paid commissions the 15th and the last business day of the month. Virgin Voyages, if you pay it in full more than 120 days prior, it is paid, commissions are paid out at 120 days prior to sailing, as long as it is fully paid off. Sometimes Disney is pretty quick. I've heard both cruise line and park reservations can be pretty quick. I've heard of some people getting their commissions from Disney 2 weeks after the trip has been taken. It just depends on when their cancellation policies fall. So, and if there are insurance claims, anything like that, anything weird happens during the trip, that there are adjustments that are made, anything like that needs to be taken into consideration. But the general rule of thumb is that commissions are paid out 30 to 60 days after the trip has been taken, unless it is an instant commission and that is paid out to you immediately. Does anybody have any other questions about the credit card authorization form or the commission tracking form or commissions in general? All right, well, if not, thank you all very much for being here. I really appreciate it. I do all my trainings on Tuesday nights at 4 p.m. Pacific time, so feel free to come in. For Evo Plus, Carla, you are going to use the credit card authorization form, but you will not use the commission tracking form because Evo Plus is a wholesale site. So you have to do you'll be getting instant commission on that. I am going to drop my YouTube in the chat here just as soon as I stop the recording. So don't worry about that. I did not forget about that. So, but yeah, so thank you guys very much for being here tonight. I really appreciate it. Again, my name is Mark Krebs. I'm a gold qualified travel trainer and mentor with Team Sunset, part of Team Empire. I do all my trainings on Tuesday nights at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. So thank you all very much for being here tonight. Hope you guys learned something and have a great rest of your evening.